Good morning. My name is Tambue. Most of you know me as a kind and playful soul, but those who really know me know that I wear my heart on my sleeve when it comes to matters of social issues and justice. Our nation has been shaken up by unsettling events lately, and I strongly believe that as a diversity-embracing community, we owe it to ourselves to come together as one and acknowledge the issues of police brutality around America. For reasons rooted in the history of this country, African American men have been consistently unjustly treated by an organization whose primary purpose is to protect and provide for the needs and rights of all American citizens. This matter has plagued our great nation since the beginning of time and has inflicted a great deal of pain, fear, and anger amongst African Americans across America. As a result, a series of retaliations against police officers, which are just as reprehensible, have occurred in Dallas, last week in Philadelphia, and again, most recently, in Charlotte, North Carolina. These occurrences have only deepened this country's conflicts and threatened to pull away our attention from the issues at hand. For some of you sitting today in chapel, this may be an uncomfortable topic that you do not wish to speak on. Some of you may care a great deal about the topic, but do not feel that it is your place to address it. In the face of the tragedies that have taken place in our cities these past several years, it is our duty as people to speak out against it so we can eventually resolve the issue. I am open to share my thoughts on the situation in our country and let you know that I believe that this is not a black versus white matter, rather a human matter. For the past few years, horrific videos have surfaced on the web about unarmed black men being gunned down by the police force during altercations. Granted, accidents do occur. However, these actions have been happening too often and too easily. The frequency of these incidents have birthed a movement of advocacy called Black Lives Matter, whose purpose is to publicly denounce police brutality not only on African Americans, but all Americans. We do agree that all lives matter. The fact of the matter is that in this very moment, the problem we are faced with is that too many African Americans have been tragically taken away from their loving families. This is a matter near and dear to my heart because I'm an 18-year-old black male, and I'm currently living in fear of my life. There is a chance that one day I could fall victim to police brutality. My mother taught me at an early age how to avoid becoming another victim because of the color of my skin. The Boys Club of New York, an after-school program which I grew up attending, held workshops for us to learn how to interact with the police. We practiced situational activities such as what to do if stopped on the train and to not carry around compromising objects. At first, I did not understand what my mother meant or why BCNY was so insistent on the training. Present day, witnessing the unfair treatment from the police against my people in person and through the internet, it hurts to know that there is a possibility it could be me or any one of my brothers one day. All it takes is the wrong place, the wrong time, and the wrong police officer. These skills that the Boys Club of New York taught me were soon to be put into use when I had my first run-in with the police last summer. Dressed in a pair of distressed jeans, dirty Converse, a backpack, and an EHS rain jacket to protect myself from the downpour outside, I walked to the 6 train with the intention to visit the Boys Club and say hello to the ones who helped place me in boarding school today. As I enter the sweltering terminal and walk to the turnstile to swipe my MetroCard, I hear a resounding call from a police officer across the station. I disregarded the shout because I knew that I hadn't done anything that would cause me to be hollered at. I proceeded through the turnstile, and before I could touch the first step down the stairs, I felt a hand grab my shoulder. It was the police officer. He thought that I was cutting class as it was 1 p.m. I then tried to explain to the officer that I attend a boarding school out of state, and our breaks differ from public schools in New York. But this wasn't enough for the officer. He ordered me to show him ID from the school. After I showed him my ID, he continued his interrogation. What is your name? Where do you live? Where are you going? Why? Because of the unexpected way I was responding to his questions, he finally believed me and reluctantly let me go. Somehow, I did not fit the profile of the black young men he was accustomed to apprehending every day. The harsh reality that blacks have been primary victims of police brutality is a tough pill to swallow. These thoughts can be depressing, but I refuse to let them eat away at me because I still have hope for tomorrow's change. The first step towards tackling the issue is realizing that this country has a problem on its hands that has gone unresolved for far too long. It is not fair that any group has to grow up in an era where they have to fear the ones who are supposed to protect them. As far as the masses are concerned, silence does not help the issue. We are collectively on our way to becoming leaders and followers in this world. We will be the next teachers, doctors, law enforcement, and average Joes and Janes one day. I challenge you all to step outside your comfort zone and stand up for a cause that concerns us all. I believe that simply having conversations about the cause and educating your peers about the injustices against African Americans, whether it be through my words or your own research, can go a long way. We cannot continue to sit back and pretend that nothing is wrong. We have to be willing to recognize one another beyond the established stereotypes. White, black, gay, straight, conservative, or liberal. We should learn to free ourselves of the assumptions and biases that have been passed along from generation to generation. Let's see one another as unique. Let's start over. I'm not just a jock. I'm not just an inner city kid. See me for who I really am, and you might not be afraid. Fear breeds hate. This issue should concern us all as we make up a society which strives to be inclusive and respectful of all people. What really makes this country great and unique is the beautiful faces of all shades and different cultures mixed together to form one nation. Every face that I see in this crowd today is my true definition of the human family. No group of us should feel as if they are unsafe in the country we have all helped to shape into what it is today. So I ask of you all, as a friend, a fellow high schooler, and as an American, to accept my words and emotion as what they really are, and not an attempt to disrupt the peace. Join me on the quest to eliminate violence and hate in the world through open dialogue. Let's bring love back to the forefront. Together we can, together we will. Thank you.